lovers and dreamers and metaphysicians. Reverend Wanda invited me to facilitate the Burning Bowl service several months ago, and because this is my favorite unity ritual, I immediately agreed. If you're new to unity or you are not familiar with the Burning Bowl, today we'll be releasing what no longer serves us. Attitudes, beliefs, old hurts, regrets, to make room for all of the good that God has in store for us in the new year. So I began keeping notes on my phone in October, and whenever I thought of something or had some insight or I read something, I jotted it down to help me prepare for the message. And when I sat down last week to distill those notes, I noticed two distinct themes. Some of you might know that I have a keen interest in the Tao Te Ching. So the life lessons taught by Lao Tzu in that sacred text. I had quite a few of Lao Tzu's quotes in my notes and thoughts on the philosophy of Wu Wei, which is the philosophy of letting go so our lives can unfold naturally without our egos getting in the way. Then I also noticed in my notes that I had a whole list of thoughts referring to the wisdom of Kermit the Frog. See, you get me. Did you know that Kermit also authored a book of life lessons? In 2006, he had an autobiography titled Before You Leap, A Frog's Eye View of Life's Greatest Lessons, told from the perspective of that lovable little amphibian. I stared at my notes. I seriously struggled with the choice in front of me. Do I stand in front of my highly intelligent unity community and speak from the ancient wisdom of the Chinese philosopher Lao Tzu? Or from the perspective of a frog puppet? Lao Tzu, Kermit, Lao Tzu, Kermit. Even though I was leaning cognitively towards Lao Tzu, thoughts of Kermit held my heart and my head captive. I simply could not stop thinking about Kermit. I put the decision on the back burner for some incubation time, which is a habit of mine, and I took my dog Carlos to PetSmart so he could choose his Christmas toy. I turned him loose on the aisle with the smallest plushies, and he went straight for The next day, I was perusing Facebook, and I saw a post from a friend who was also a Unity minister at Hilton Head in South Carolina. And she posted a Christmas meme of, not a frog, a reindeer. But way in the corner, down at the bottom, it said, for the lovers and the dreamers. And because God realized I hadn't yet got the message, last Saturday, Jody and I were at the Philharmonic Holiday Pops concert, and a young girl, whom I did not know, never saw before, plopped down in the empty seat next to me during intermission and started telling me about her favorite Muppet. I decided that Spirit really wants me to use Kermit as a symbolic emissary for my message today, and who am I to disagree? That's another song, isn't it? Let me share a little bit about the Rainbow Connection song that we just watched. It was written by Paul Williams for the 1979 Muppet movie. And Williams has since said that his favorite line in the song is, who said that every wish would be heard and answered? Somebody thought of it, and someone believed it. Because Williams believed, as most lunatics do, oh, come on, all of us do, in the power of our thoughts. The song is not only about a positive mindset, but also about finding yourself and following your dreams. And the most relevant point for our message today is that when Kermit sings the Rainbow Connection song, that's when he decides to leave the swamp and go to Hollywood so he can make millions of people happy. He was half asleep and heard voices calling his name. He was comfortable playing the banjo in the place he had lived all his life, but he wanted something more. And to have something more, something better, something more meaningful, he had to give up what no longer served him. He had to leave the swamp. And he had to take a, can't help it, leap of faith that it was the right decision for him. We're going to follow Kermit's lead today. We're going to listen to the voice and leave the swamp. Are there any lovers and dreamers here? I knew it. I knew it. When I look around this room, I see lots of lovers. Unitic, first and foremost, are lovers of truth. I called them kind of truth in a collective sense, the immutable universal laws that transcend time and space. They are true no matter where we are, and they're true no matter when we are. Those laws include, of course, the law of oneness, the law of reciprocity, the law of attraction, all familiar concepts to Unitics. The Unity people I know love animals, they love the arts, they love philosophy. We love acts of kindness and lending support, not only to our loved ones, but to strangers. I've witnessed this over and over again in this Unity community. The food bank, Forest Park School, and most recently the military family that we supported for Christmas have all been on the receiving end of our generosity. We're also dreamers, big dreamers. And one of the reasons that our congregation is thriving right now is because we are in the flow. We have specific visions for how we'd like this community to evolve. We come together as a congregation on Sunday mornings, but during the week we come to classes and workshops, meditations, to raise our awareness and our individual and collective vibrations. That's what allows us to dream big, because we are vibrating at such a high frequency. So, if you didn't know before that you had anything in common with Kermit, you do now. And again, today we are going to focus specifically on leaving the metaphorical swamp. No matter how comfortable it has been, we kind of like to wallow in our own stuff. But we need to make room for the big dreams and the big loves that God has in store for us. In Unity, we use the burning bowl ritual as an alternative to New Year's resolutions. So the purpose of this ceremony is to create a shift in consciousness. We become still, we open ourselves to divine wisdom, and identify and name what it is we want to release. And then we let it go by literally watching it go up in flames. You should have an envelope, which you can self-address if you have not already done so. You also have a piece of flash paper and an index card, both of which should be blank right now, right? Anybody scribble on them? Okay, good. You follow directions. So, a reminder. When we do the first meditation, you will be working only with the flash paper. Only the flash paper is suitable for burning, and only the flash paper will go in the bowl. The index card will be used in the final step of the ritual and will not be dropped in the bowl. All right. As spiritual practitioners, we know when our personal practice may be falling short, and we may choose to engage in sacred ritual. Certainly for us, prayer and meditation is common. We might journal, we might drum, we might visualize, we certainly affirm. But what's so great about this particular ritual is that we are engaging in it together. When we join with others, something really magical happens. It's not each of us individually calling in the faith, the hope, the love, the guidance, the wisdom. In community and through our higher selves, in our vibrancy, and I'm even going to say our collective magnificence, our power is increased exponentially, and we are co-creating a space right in here for transformation and healing. Eckhart Tolle, the author of Power of Now, says, what could be more futile, more insane than to create an inner resistance to something that already is? But we do it. And sometimes that something that we're resisting is the same something we've been resisting many, many times before. Because what we resist persists. What we resist persists. Have you ever wondered if the universe puts us in the same situations over and over again to see if we're still a dumb animal? Every day. So today, let's definitively release the old habits, the old patterns of thinking, negative thinking, limiting thoughts, and all the beliefs that no longer serve us. And if you're thinking, I don't know, I can't decide what I want to release, like that squirrel on my way here this morning, his decision-making skills. You ever seen a squirrel trying to cross the street? I don't know. It's going to be revealed today. You will hear it. You will hear the voice. Same one that Kermit heard. After my very first burning bowl experience here, which was in 2008, I was so excited. I went to work and I was telling a coworker about it. She said, well, what do you mean? Like, give up something? Like Lent? And I was fairly new to Unity, and I wasn't explaining it very well. And I said, well, maybe like I would want to give up my need to control everything. And she cut in and she said, hey, as long as I get my way, I am totally flexible. I said, okay. I said, maybe you want to give up your need to always be right. And she said, yeah. My husband says I always need the last word. And I tell him, I'm not arguing, I'm just explaining why I'm right. You might not be surprised that I invited her to come to church with me. And you might not be surprised that she never came. Maybe one of the most common and powerful tools we can select for our burning bowl ritual is the choice to forgive. Emphasis on the word choice. We all can recite great quotes and stories and parables in support of that awareness. Imagine being bitten by a poisonous snake. And instead of focusing on healing and recovering, you run around telling everybody what that bad snake did. And you're trying to find the snake, and you're trying to catch the snake to find out the reason that it bit you, and to let him know you did not deserve to be bitten. When we refuse to forgive, we put ourselves in a kind of a prison. We are locked away with the poison that will slowly eat away at us. The good news is we are not only the prisoner, we're also the jailer. And you know why? What do you have?
The key.
You have the key. The act of forgiving others and ourselves is the one and only key that opens the lock or the grip of anger and resentment and poison that we may be harboring. We have the power here today to unlock the door of that dark, dank cell. Forgiveness neutralizes the toxic investment that keeps us locked up. I know you've all heard that we forgive not to let the other person off the hook, but to let ourselves off the hook, right? And it's true. Maybe kind of magically, mystically, we receive a new life, a healed life, a peaceful life, which is what I strive for every day. Vietnamese Buddhist monk Thich Nhat Hanh said, letting go gives us freedom, and freedom is the only condition for true happiness. He continued, if we want an answer to any problem, do not run to a psychiatrist or a lawyer or even a doctor. Sit with yourself, because yourself has all the answers. Every atom of the universe is within us. We are that, the entire universe, and therefore all the answers that are in the universe are also in us. All the solutions, all the wisdom, all the happiness that we're looking for is within. One last thought before we enter into the meditation. Unity's co-founder Charles Fillmore said, we must learn to let go to give up room. We must learn to let go, to give up, to make room for the things we have prayed for and desired. And it's true. We simply cannot reach for anything new if our hands are full of yesterday's stuff. And we have to identify specifically that stuff, because we cannot move forward from a place we do not occupy. In a few minutes, I will lead the meditation, and that will end with some time in the silence. During the silence, you will be inspired to write a word, a short phrase, anything that describes or symbolizes the condition you wish to release today. And if you think you don't have enough room on the paper, it's easy. We got a fix for that. You can just hold the paper in your hand and press your thoughts into it. Right? And when you have written or infused your flesh paper, I will invite you to come forward and drop your flesh paper into the bowl. And when everyone is done, I will extinguish them altogether. So as we begin to hone in on what is ours to release, we quiet ourselves, we call to mind any incidents, any people we want to forgive, any situations, circumstances we are still arguing with. Remember, this is important. This is not a call for condemnation or criticism. It is a call for alignment. We will be burning thoughts, habits, and beliefs. We will not be burning people. Don't do that. When we wish bad things for others, the universe has this boomerang response to that. Do you know that? When I was growing up, we had a rhyme that the kids would say if somebody called us an unkind name on the playground. It's very profound, and I didn't get it, of course, when I was a kid, but I get it now. If someone called us a nasty name, we said, if I'm rubber, then you're glue, because it bounces off me and it sticks on you. So remember, no burning of the people. We may experience intense emotions when we focus on forgiveness. We do not condemn ourselves for how we feel. We simply choose to refocus our thoughts on love, harmony, compassion, and peace. We know that the first step in learning to forgive is a willingness. So if there is any part of us that is not yet willing, we simply invite in more love, more support, more light, and then let it go. Psalms chapter 51, verse 10. Create in me a clean heart, O God, and renew a right spirit within me. In the name and through the power of the indwelling Christ, we forgive and we are forgiven. So, got your paper? One breath together as we close our eyes, if that's comfortable, simply lowering our gaze. The weight of the flash paper is very light. The burdens and challenges you carry in your heart may be heavy. But I assure you, the paper can bear the weight. Now, opening our hearts to what needs to be revealed and what needs to be healed. Take another deep breath, letting our shoulders fall away from our ears. Slowing our breathing, letting go more completely and more fully with each breath. No resisting, no insisting. Releasing any and all attachment to what no longer serves us. Let's imagine that each of our minds is a huge storage closet with boxes and bags filling the entire space. Take in as much detail as possible, noting all the items that have been stored away for many years, perhaps many lifetimes. We acknowledge each bag and box and file folder, noting that each one is holding old thoughts, old beliefs, old hurts. Some should haves and why didn't we's. Which bag or box is asking to be examined? What long-held belief no longer serves and needs to be disposed of? We are ready now to select our most unhelpful, distracting thoughts or beliefs, regrets, resentments, picking them up in our hands, noticing how heavy and cumbersome they feel. We know that at one point these thoughts served us in some way. Taking a moment to thank them, we acknowledge they are no longer relevant in our lives. There may be more to release In other boxes, we may find family feuds, professional grudges, disappointing relationships, things said and done, things unsaid and undone. Exhale and let them go. As you hold the paper, these conditions transmit from the conscious mind into the paper. What else might you need to release? What is the voice telling you? Breathe, release, trust the process. While in the silence, you may whisper into the paper, you may write a word, a phrase, an idea, or even draw a picture that symbolizes the burden or burdens you are willing to let go of. Beliefs, patterns, habits, injuries, commit them to the paper. You are safe and supported here in the silence. As you are ready, come forward and release your burdens into the bowl. No rush. I didn't want to let go. Bill said, really? I really want to let go. Let that go, Bob. Some of you didn't want to get that up, did you? You persevered. So good to see you, Joni. Moving them all to the middle. Let this moment of release for each of us be quickened by the power of the divine presence that's here. Together, we let go and we let God do the work in this sacred experience. And they're really gone. Not a scrap left in there. Let's take 1 minute to process. I'm affirming that we all have, come on, you have a sense of openness, expansion, yes. Feeling of aliveness and awareness. We have left the swamp. We haven't left the building, but we have left the swamp. Most likely none of us are headed to Hollywood, but I don't know that. I could be wrong. We have created a void, and we must fill it intentionally. Use your index card now to list an affirmation, an intention, or vision of the good that you would like to see manifest in your life in 2025. You're going to self-address that envelope and place your note of affirmation inside. No one will see this card but you. You can seal the envelope and drop it in the offering basket as you leave today. And we will keep them safe, and we will mail them to you sometime in the fall next year, so you can see what a great manifester you are. You know, when considering what to bring to life this coming year, let's not limit our thinking. If you're going to be thinking anyway, we might as well think big. Yes? We're big lovers. We're big dreamers. I honestly believe that if 2 points are destined to touch, the universe will find a way to make the connection across space, across time, across lifetimes, by paths we cannot predict, because God always knows the way. One of my favorite affirmations: all doors are open, all channels are free. The whole wide world says yes to me. You can use that if you want. All doors are open, all channels are free. The whole wide world says yes to me. If you need to take a minute, a quiet minute, might run a little bit over, but if you need to take a minute of quiet, you may. You also, if you want, may take this home with you if you want to think about this, although you're really open right now. So I suggest you write what is being downloaded into your consciousness today. Here's a suggestion. At the bottom of the card, you might write, and everything else. So even if something comes to mind later, you know it's been captured from divine mind to your heart to your index card. I can't wait to see what is the greatest and grandest good. Our new ways of being, thinking, speaking, moving, being in relation with others here and elsewhere. Let's affirm together as we hold our letters of intention and infuse our letters now. We bless our lives. We bless the good that is coming to us, and we bless all channels through which that goodness comes. We dedicate our energy and enthusiasm to renewed life, calling forth our highest nature. As Charles Fillmore's son Lowell used to say, we go forth to meet accept, and express our highest good. Amen. Close it up for us, Bob.